Jason Miller never wanted to come back here, but after his estranged father's death, he inherited the old farmhouse in rural Iowa, the one surrounded by miles of empty cornfields and silence, thick enough to choke you. He was only supposed to stay a week, just long enough to fix up the property and get it listed. That night, as he stood in the kitchen, the overhead bulb flickered again. Outside, the corn shifted even though there was no wind. And right on the edge of the field, unmoving, stood the Scarecrow. It hadn't been there yesterday. Day one echoes in wood. The place smelled like rot and memories. Jason spent the day ripping out old cabinets and dusting off furniture that hadn't been touched in a decade. At sunset, he went to lock up the barn, but the doors were already open. Inside, he found a wooden cross buried in the dirt floor. No name, just a bundle of dried corn tied with black thread. That night, the house creaked with the sounds of weight shifting upstairs. He was alone. Day two, something's off. While rummaging through the attic, Jason found a dusty photo album. One picture showed a family, his grandfather, grandmother, and a tall woman in a dark dress standing behind them. Jason frowned. She didn't look related. Her eyes were black. Not from poor photo quality, they looked empty. Later, in the kitchen, he noticed something strange. The Scarecrow was closer. It had moved 3 full rows toward the house. Still perfectly still. Still facing the window. At 2:13 a.m., the barn doors slammed open again. Day 3 whispers in the corn. Jason met an old man at the local gas station who asked, "You the Miller boy?" Jason nodded. The man squinted. "You'd best leave that place alone. That land's hungry." "What the hell does that mean?" But the old man just shook his head. Every fall, the soil takes what it's owed. That evening, Jason heard footsteps in the hallway upstairs. He crept up with a crowbar and found nothing, except the attic door was wide open, and that photo of the black-eyed woman was gone. Then he heard whispering, faint, coming from the pantry wall. Day 4, the hidden cellar. While inspecting the kitchen pantry, Jason noticed a seam along the back wall. Behind it, a false panel revealed a small trapdoor. It led into a hidden cellar that wasn't on the blueprints. Descending slowly, flashlight in hand, Jason discovered a stone room. Symbols carved into the walls. Inside it, a letter dated October 14, 1889. Dried bloodstains soaked the floor. In the center was a box wrapped in burlap. Rusted chains bolted into the corners. "We offer them a soul each harvest. A child, a stranger, a wanderer. The land drinks deep, and in return, it grows strong. This year, it is your turn." Jason dropped the letter. Something breathed behind him. He turned around, just in time to see the Scarecrow's head tilt slightly. But it wasn't outside anymore. It was in the cellar with him. Day 5, the father's return. Jason locked the trapdoor and planned to leave that night. But when he ran to his truck, it wouldn't start. The gas gauge was full, the engine was fine, but the road out of the property? Gone. The gravel had been swallowed by a growing cornfield that hadn't been planted in years. He stumbled back inside. And there it was, the photo of his father's funeral. But Jason wasn't in the crowd. He was in the casket. "No," he whispered. "No, no." Suddenly, the air grew cold. Footsteps. Heavy ones. Coming down from the attic. Jason turned and saw his father, pale and stiff, eyes sunken. Face stitched back together with black thread. On his hand, his wedding ring. "Why?" Jason asked, voice shaking. His father opened his mouth, and the voice of the black-eyed woman spoke through him. "The land must feed." Final night, the harvest. Jason ran, crashing through the field, stalks slicing his arms. The sky had turned red. The moon hung low and fat like a bleeding eye. Behind him, the Scarecrow moved, gliding just above the ground. He made it to the road. A car passed. Jason screamed, but it drove through him. Everything was quiet again. He was standing in the field now, unable to move. Something stiff tightened around his neck. A burlap sack. A wooden frame held up his arms. And from the window of the farmhouse, the black-eyed woman watched, smiling. Ending. 1 year later, a young couple drives by the property. "Look at that," the woman says. "Creepy old scarecrow." "Yeah," the man replies. "Looks real." The scarecrow doesn't move, but in its stitched mouth, Jason's eyes are still wide open. And from the dead fields behind him, whispers begin again.